Danganronpa is a Japanese video game franchise created and developed by Spike Chunsoft for the PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, iOS, and Android. The series currently consists of 3 titles. 2 visual novel games, Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc and Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, and an upcoming third-person adventure spin-off, Zettai Zetsubō Shōjo, Danganronpa AnotherEpisode, as well as various manga, novel, and anime adaptations. The series name is compounded from the Japanese words for bullet, and refutation. Premise: the series revolves around the elite high school, Hope's Peak Academy, which, every year, selects several ultimate students, talented high school students who are in the top of their field, along with one average ultimate lucky student, who is chosen by lottery. In Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, Makoto Neji, an average student selected to join Hope's Peak Academy, arrives at the school only to lose consciousness and later find himself trapped inside the school, along with 14 other students. There, a sadistic remote-controlled teddy bear by the name of Monokuma announces that the students will be forced to live in the school forever, offering only one way to graduate: murder another student and get away with it. When a crime scene is discovered, a class trial is held, in which the remaining students must discuss amongst themselves who the murderer is. If they can successfully figure out who murdered the victim, the culprit alone will be executed. However, if they guess incorrectly, the culprit will be able to leave the school and everyone else will be executed. The sequel, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, has a similar premise, this time taking place on a tropical island known as Jabberwock. Hoime Hinata, a student who has no memory of his ultimate talent, along with 15 other students, are taken there by a rabbit named Uzami, who states it to be a field trip to help the classmates make friends with each other. However, Monokuma interferes yet again, turning it into yet another killing game. Zettai Zetsubō Shōjo, Danganronpa AnotherEpisode, which takes place between the events of the first 2 games, follows Makoto's younger sister, Komura Neji, as she treks through a city ruled by Monokuma's influence, fighting against a group of murderous children calling themselves the Monokuma Kids. Gameplay in the main Danganronpa games are split into 2 main styles, school life and class trial. School life follows a standard visual novel style as players explore the school grounds, converse with characters and move the story forward. During designated free time sections, players can choose to interact with a character of their choice, learning more about them and earning new skills that can help them in the class trial. School life is divided up into 2 sections. Daily life, where the story simply progresses, and deadly life, where players must search for evidence relating to a murder. The class trial is the main gameplay mode of the series, in which students discuss amongst themselves who the culprit is. This involves various different types of mini-game, the most common of which is the non-stop debate. Here, characters will automatically discuss the case, and it is up to the player to spot contradictions in their statements and shoot them using truth bullets containing the corresponding evidence. Other gameplay types include shooting letters to spell out a clue, using rhythmic button presses to argue against a specific character, and constructing a comic strip depicting the events of a murder. Zettai Zetsubō Shōjo, Danganronpa AnotherEpisode, unlike the main games, is a third-person adventure in which the protagonist, Komura, uses a megaphone to issue commands to Monokuma robots. Development: the first game in the series, titled Danganronpa, Kyuba no Gakuen to Zetsubō no Kakasei, was produced by Yoshinori Terusawa, who was inspired by movies such as Saw and Cube. The game uses a distinct pop art style featuring fluorescent pink blood, which was designed to lessen the grotesqueness and age rating of the game. The game's scenario was written by Kazutaka Kodaka, with character designs by Rui Komatsuzaki. In February 2014, Kodaka revealed on his Twitter account that the story of Danganronpa was inspired by the Sega Dreamcast game Illbleed, as he loved how crazy it was. The game was originally conceived as a basic visual novel but, as visual novels were growing less popular, new gameplay elements were added to make it stand out. The game was originally released on PlayStation Portable in Japan on November 25, 2010, and was later ported to iOS and Android devices on August 20, 2012. Prior to the game's release, the company released various promotional material, including a playable demo and trailers, which depicted a different victim from the final game. The fan translation group Project Zetsubō released an unofficial English translation patch for the PlayStation Portable version of the game on June 23, 2013. Two smartphone applications, Danganronpa, Monokuma no Gyakusho, and Alter Ego, were released for Android devices on April 27, 2012 and iOS devices on May 23, 2012. A sequel, Super Danganronpa 2, Sayonara Zetsubō Gakuen, was released for PSP in Japan on July 26, 2012, featuring various gameplay additions. On October 10, 2013, Spike Chunsoft released Danganronpa 1 A Florin 2 Reload, a compilation of the first two games, for the PlayStation Vita. Along with higher resolution graphics and touchscreen controls, the compilation added an additional school mode to the first game, based on the second game's island mode. On July 6, 2013, NIS America announced they would be releasing the Vita version of the first game in English under the name Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, featuring both English and Japanese audio. This version was released in North America on February 11, 2014, and in Europe and Australia on February 14, 2014. The Vita version of the second game, titled Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, will be released in North America and Europe in September 2014. On September 9, 2013, Spike Chunsoft announced during a Sony Computer Entertainment Japan conference that a spin-off title of the series, Zettai Zetsubō Shōjo, Danganronpa AnotherEpisode, is currently in development for the Vita for release in 2014. The teaser trailer for the game ended with the words, "and also 3 inches," hinting at a third game in the main series. Terrasaura has stated, "We are absolutely thinking about making a third Danganronpa, but we have the Euro unregistered trademark T decided on anything specific just yet." Other media, manga, the following manga series have been produced based on the games. Danganronpa, Kiba no Gakuen to Zetsubō no Kakaseri, Danganronpa, Kiba no Gakuen to Zetsubō no Kakaseri for Coma Kings, Danganronpa, Kiba no Gakuen to Zetsubō no Kakaseri Comic Anthology, Super Danganronpa 2, Sayonara Zetsubō Gakuen, Super Danganronpa 2, Dangan Island, Kokoro Tokonatsu Kokoronpa Unregistered Trademark Super Danganronpa 2, Kakakakaya no Kaanta Kiba to Zetsubō Super Danganronpa 2, Nanami Shiaki no Sayonara Zetsubō Debaken, Super Danganronpa 2, Nanjoku Zetsubō Carnival. Super Danganronpa 2, Sayonara Zetsubō Gakuen, 4 Coma Kings, Super Danganronpa 2, Sayonara Zetsubō Gakuen, Comic Anthology, Danganronpa, The Animation, Danganronpa, The Animation, Comic Anthology, Novels, a spin-off novel based on the game written by Tsuyoshi Kodakazu and illustrated by Rui Komatsuzaki, titled Danganronpa 0, was released in 2 volumes between September 15, 2011 and October 13, 2011. Another novel series written by Takakuni Kitayama and illustrated by Komatsuzaki, titled Danganronpa Kurijiri, began release from September 13, 2013. A mini light novel written by Ryogo Narita, titled Danganronpa AF, Kiba no Dashuzusachi to Zetsubō no Zanmusa, is unlockable in Danganronpa 2 after clearing the game once. The story tells of an alternate universe in which Makoto manages to find an alleged escape switch. Anime. In December 2012, Kadokawa Shoten's New Type magazine announced that there would be an anime television series adaptation of the first game, titled Danganronpa, The Animation, produced by Leash and directed by Seiji Kishi. The series aired between July 4, 2013 and September 26, 2013 and was simulcast by Funimation. The final Blu-ray DVD volume, released on February 26, 2014, features an extended final episode. Music, The original soundtracks for both the games and the anime are composed by Masafumi Takada. The soundtrack for Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc was released in Japan by Sound Prestige Records on February 14, 2011, with the ending theme, Saizu Rebuild, performed by Megumi Agata, which is also used as the anime's final ending theme. The soundtrack for Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair was released on August 31, 2012. The soundtrack for Danganronpa, the animation was released by Gene on Universal Entertainment on August 28, 2013. The opening theme for the anime series was Never Say Never, performed by TKD Zetsubō with Jas Mace, Markitect and Tribeca, the single of which was included with the first Blu-ray DVD volume of the anime released on August 28, 2013. The ending theme is Zetsuba Seri, Hiroshi Ayaka by Suzumu Feet. Sararu, the single of which was released on September 4, 2013. There have also been drama CDs, as well as bonus soundtracks included with limited edition releases of the games. Appearances in other games: Monokuma appears in some downloadable content for Spike Chunsoft's role-playing game, Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars. Costumes of Monokuma and Monomi also appear in the Japanese PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita versions of Terraria, which are published by Spike Chunsoft in that region. Another Spike game developed for the PlayStation Portable, Gakitara, the roughneck teacher in high school, allows the player to wear a Monokuma costume if a Danganronpa save file is present upon playing Gakitara. Downloadable outfits based on Monokuma and Monomi will also appear in the Super Sonico game, Motto. Sonic Army. References. External links: official website, Danganronpa the Animation at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia.